Now, if there's one thing I've learned about gumbo, the final flavor and ingredients depend on who's making it. This side of the state uses roux, that side of the state uses okra and filet, and there are a whole bunch of people that use a combination of both. Well, after weeks of research and several conversations, I'm gonna give you my take on this Cajun classic and use as many techniques as possible to pull out as much flavor as possible, and hopefully I'll do the state of Louisiana proud. First though, we're gonna start off by knocking out some prep. Sound good? Let's cook. We're gonna start off this recipe by using one whole 4-pound or 1.81 kilogram chicken. What we're gonna do at this stage is just take it right over to the cooktop. I have a large stock pot. Place it in there. Next, we're going to add in 1 gallon or 3.8 liters of cold water. Now, once it's in there, you can cook it as is, but remember how I always tell you to save your vegetable scraps? This is the perfect time to add those in there. No matter how much there is, it's going to enhance the flavor. Let's turn the heat to low-medium and simmer it for about 75 to 90 minutes. And utilizing a whole chicken is just so much more economical. You get cooked chicken meat and then you get the carcass to make the stock with. It is so much more flavorful in this gumbo. Of course, if you just have chicken or some stock lying around, absolutely use it. Now while this is cooking down, we can do a few more things in the meantime. I've got 2 large yellow onions. You could also use white onions or sweet onions. Let's slice off the ends, slice it in half, remove that outside peel, and then we're going to small to medium size dice it. The size does not need to be perfect here. Yeah, those onion scraps, let's also add those right into the stock. It's going to make it that much more flavorful. And now it's sausage time. I have 1.5 pounds or 680 grams of andouille smoked sausage. Now, from everything that I know about gumbo, sausage is crazy important. So I went and splurged a little bit and got some andouille from Jacob's in Laplace, Louisiana. And dude, whoa, the smell, the flavor in this is incredible. Now, it may not be as good as this, but if you can find some andouille or even some good smoked sausage at your local grocery store or even butcher shop, you'll be totally fine. All we're gonna do here is slice it up, sear it up. You definitely have some options when it comes to the size of the sausage in the gumbo. What I'm going to do is slice these in half and then make mini half moon slices in them. But if you have sausage that has casing on the outside, you can leave it on. But for me, I'm going to take it off. I don't know what it is. It's a little weird for me. So I'm going to continue making those half moon slices all throughout the andouille sausage. We're taking it over to the cooktop where I have a 2 gallon or 7.2 liter pot. I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons or 45 milliliters of vegetable oil, turning the heat to medium. We're going to add in the sausage. All we want to do here is saute this for about 5 to 6 minutes and get a little sear on them. And you know the position, hand on hip. Once we get a little brown on them, going to add a little bit more flavor here. We're going to take these out and set it to the side in a bowl. At this point, we won't need them until we add it back in later. Back over to the pot, there should be plenty of rendered fat and oil still in there. Let's add our small to medium dice-sized onions, turn the heat down to low, and caramelize these, which can take 45 to 60 minutes. And I'm 100% certain there are already people out there shaking their head in disgust. Stick with me. Think of all the flavor that's already in that pan, the andouille sausage. When we added the onions, all that fond from the sausage, that goodness, lifted right up and is now cooking into the onions. That's next level, so much more flavor. And yeah, we're gonna take the time to caramelize onions. It will make the gumbo better. Do not skip out on this, take the time to do it. All right, here's what we're gonna do in the meantime. I've got 4 ribs of celery. We are gonna cut them in the exact same manner of our onions, small to medium sized dice. Then I've got 5 whole garlic cloves. You could add 6 or 7, up to you if you love garlic that much. Trim off the root end, give it a quick smash, and then finely mince it. This is perfect. Now for the bell peppers, I have 1 large red bell pepper. We're gonna seed it by slicing around the inside seeds and the bottom, and then we're gonna small to medium size dice it and then set it to the side. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know how I feel about green peppers. They're not good, sorry. They're just not as good as red or yellow or orange. However, I will concede and I'll use 1. That's it. The exact same small to medium sized dice as the red bell pepper and other vegetables with this 1 large green bell pepper. All right, let's go back and have a look at our onions. Give it a quick stir. They're nice and caramelized. It's been about 50 minutes. There's gonna be so much flavor in here. Let's add in all of our vegetables at this point. Once they're in there, we're going to turn the heat from low up to medium. We want to saute these vegetables together for 6 to 8 minutes. Don't worry, the other vegetables will help protect the onions so they don't burn. After that time, they should be a little bit brown on them and very tender. We're going to add in our finely minced garlic cloves. And you know the rule, once you can smell garlic cooking, it's done. So this only takes about 45 to 60 seconds. At this stage, we're going to take the vegetables right outside of that pot and set them to the side in a bowl. Next, let's go have a look at our chicken while we're at it. It's been 90 minutes total. Our chicken is definitely cooked. Our stock looks fantastic. Now, this is a little bit tricky. You got to be careful with removing that whole chicken because it's going to want to fall apart. For the stock, absolutely gorgeous. Taking it off of the burner, going over the cooktop where I have a chinois strainer, another fine mesh strainer will be absolutely fine. Pour it right into a plastic container or even another pot. Now make sure to get as much liquid out as possible. That's all that flavor, all that goodness still in those vegetables. Push it down, shake it, whatever you need to do. We've got about a gallon or 3.8 liters of stock. This is perfect. Pouring it right back into that stock pot, going over to our burner, turning the heat to low. We're just going to keep it warm at this stage. All right, for that whole chicken, it's cooled down slightly, which is great because now we want to break it down. Start by removing the skin on the outside. And then you just really remove the meat, breast, thighs, drums, you name it. Get as much of that chicken meat off as possible, and then just give it a rough chop. I only like to maybe go one time here because I like big chunks of chicken in my gumbo. Then all we're going to do is just set it to the side on a plate until we're ready to throw it in our soup. Now, I already know this recipe is a little bit different than you're used to, but hang on because now is one of the most important procedures and ingredients in all of the gumbo. And it's roux time. In that same pot that we've cooked everything, we're going to add in 3/4 cup or 180 milliliters of vegetable oil. No butter. That's what everyone says. Turn the heat to medium low. We're going to let it cook for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to start to add in slowly 1 cup or 120 grams of all-purpose flour. We do this slowly so that nothing clumps up. We want a nice smooth roux, and even if it pulls some of that fond, some of that goodness off the bottom, we still don't want any chunks in our roux. Now this is probably going to take up to 30 minutes to get to that perfect color. I was told make sure it is a dark penny. It cannot be any lighter than that. So once you get that beautiful, nice, creamy dark roux, we're good to go to the next stage. This isn't a recipe that you just throw together. No, it requires a little bit of time, love, and care. There are several steps to make sure you get it right. But I promise you, if you hang with me, the flavors are going to be incredible. All right, we're rounding third. Let's add in all of our cooked vegetables right back into the pot with the roux. You'll notice it will start to tighten up and thicken up even more and turn the roux even a darker color. Now for the Cajun spices, I have 2 tablespoons or 17 grams of Cajun spice blend. You can grab that off my website or on my Cajun shrimp pasta recipe. We're going to add that right in there. And also, if you have a favorite Cajun spice blend that you make at home or get from the store, totally feel free to use it, no problem. Let's mix this in and toast it just for about a minute or so. Then we're going to grab a couple ladles of our chicken stock and add it in there and stir it. We just want to start to activate that roux a little bit. You'll see it start to thicken up even more. It's beautifully creamy, dark brown. This is perfect. Let's grab the rest of that chicken stock and pour it in there completely. Now, once all the chicken stock is in there, that's when we're going to start adding in everything else, beginning with our roughly chopped chicken. Next, don't forget about that delicious sausage. That's going right in there. Then a few more things. We're adding in 2 bay leaves. And remember the skins from that andouille sausage? Yeah, there's a lot of delicious smoky flavor in there. I'm going to add those in there as well. Now it's time to add in okra. Yep. Okra is a staple ingredient to me in gumbo. After all, gumbo and its few definitions means okra. Don't believe me? Look it up. So I'm adding in 1 pound or 454 grams of frozen okra. Sorry, it's the off season. Okra is fresh in June and July. If you can get it fresh from the grocery store, just slice it up and add it in there. Perfect. Outside of those months, especially during Mardi Gras season, frozen is what you're going to be left with. We're going to add everything in there, turn the heat up to high. We want to bring it to a boil, which is going to sort of activate our roux and get everything nice and thick. Once it gets to that stage, we're going to turn it to low medium, add a lid on it, and simmer it for about 1 hour. So during my research, I found some really interesting tidbits on what gumbo is served with. Now, at the restaurant I used to work at, we would just serve it up with long grain rice. You've seen me make this a million times. Super traditional to do it. However, one of my buddies, LJ, stopped through and he's from Louisiana. We got to talking about gumbo because I told him I was going to make this recipe. And he said, yeah, we eat potato salad and gumbo. And my mind was like, what? Potato salad and gumbo? Well, I've got an awesome recipe. It's actually my southern style potato salad. It's going to be perfect in here. Here are a few highlights for you. So you can use russets or Yukon Golds. Of course, don't forget that Creole mustard. And then the rest of the ingredients are a little bit up to you. I like mayonnaise, hard-boiled eggs, celery, onion, and a little bit of garlic. And don't forget the sugar and pickle relish. Perfect. Set it to the side. Let's go have a look at our gumbo. Looks fantastic. The smells in here, oh my gosh, you guys, your house is going to smell incredible. Also, I heard through the grapevine that some people put hard-boiled eggs in there as they simmer it, and it makes them absolutely delicious. Everything is finished, smells incredible in here. Don't forget to adjust the seasonings of your gumbo with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now for gumbo filet, which I remember when I first saw it in the restaurant industry, I'm like, what the heck is gumbo file? Yeah, I know you're laughing at me, but it's gumbo filet. What it is ground up dried sassafras leaves. Now you have a couple options. You can put some in right now to finish it off, or you can sprinkle it on top in the serving bowl. Totally up to you. All right, here's what we're gonna do to plate this up. It's best to serve this up in a shallow, wide bowl because remember, this isn't the only ingredient in there. And this is a nice, thick stew like gumbo. Also, for the gumbo filet, you can serve it on the side or you can sprinkle a little bit on top, which is what I'm going to do. And of course, don't forget about the rice and the green onions. However, let's go real Cajun style and add on our potato salad and even our hard-boiled egg and a little bit more of those sliced green onions. Cannot wait to try this out. So good, so much flavor in this gumbo. It is definitely a labor of love, but the flavors, so good. Don't even worry about all those dishes over there in the sink. All right, I want to try both. Let's see how good they are. Well, the gumbo is awesome already. It's ridiculous. All right, the potato salad is what I'm probably most interested in. Oh my God, that's the winner. I'm out.